Okay, I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation with Carlos. I hope that you were able to join us. Sorry about the bad live streaming quality. It's just how it is. As long as we're in the jungle, I'm going to try to go to the restaurants in town and do these from there in the future. But for the time being, this is what we got. So thank you, anyone that was watching. I know you were there, Fernando. You're probably here too. Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to talk to Carlos. We're going to do a part 2 this week, and I will get that up as soon as I can. And we're going to talk more about what the Carlos Foundation, the Ayahuasca Foundation, is doing as a nonprofit to benefit the indigenous people that they work with, what they're doing to get the medicine out there. I know that they just did the Down to Earth documentary with Zac Efron. They played some role in that. I think he had an ayahuasca ceremony at the Ayahuasca Foundation's facility. Definitely check that out. I don't know if you guys have any questions about ayahuasca. Yeah, we were demonetized a long time ago, and so my plan is to start a new channel. The only reason I haven't done it, I know that I've been saying this for a while, and I haven't done it. We have been unable to upload anything, and I am not tech savvy, so I figured out that there were some things wrong in the laptop, and we fixed it. So now I can upload more regularly. So I'm definitely going to get that channel launched. In addition, if you are a patron, we have finally totally finished the first installment of the Lesser Banishing Ritual, of the Pentagram Ritual Magic series. So that's like the second part that we're going to be uploading to that. So definitely check that out. And I'm sorry it took us so long, but here in the jungle, we're kind of at the whim and caprice of Pachamama. Yeah, man, great conversation with Carlos. And we are, every day that I'm here in the Amazon rainforest, I am just more and more determined and more angry. That the forest is being destroyed mostly in search of gold, and looking for solutions, looking to broaden my reach and my capacity to have some impact. I'm really hoping we can make this thing with the Waorani happen. And again, you guys, we really do need your support. There are 2 shamans I'm talking with right now. One of them is Shipibo, and I really mostly just want to see her for my health, but I'd also like to interview her and talk a little bit with her about what the Shipibo do, or what she does in particular in her practice, because like my own, it's a syncretic kind of tradition. I know she uses rape and some medicines that may not be as traditional to Shipibo. She's integrated other practices into her own practices, but she is a Shipibo shamana with a lineage of ancestors that were also shamans. And so also there is another local Quechua man who does not work with tourists, and he doesn't really want to talk to anybody, but I found his grandson, and he said, okay, I'll talk to you on camera, but I want a minimum of $100, and I have to pay the translator. So we just can't afford it. So if you guys, this is like PBS for ayahuasca. Like we can do these things. I'm here in the jungle. I want to do these things, but with my health problems and COVID and all of this stuff, we just don't have the money. So if you guys want to see these things happen, if you're interested in this content, we need your help to make it happen. So there are links in the description, PayPal, Zelle, cryptocurrency, and we do appreciate all the support so far. So again, if you guys have questions about the medicine, today I got to spend some time. I was talking about the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram video that we put on the Patreon page. We actually videoed it at the base of an ayahuasca vine that is growing up into a cacao plant. And cacao, speaking of plant medicine, is a powerful plant teacher on its own. It's a planta maestra, and it is just as we associate chocolate with romance, it is a medicine of love and connection and romantic love. And there are actually cacao shaman. I personally don't. I don't know what you mean by am I in a better place now. If the internet's working better, it is because Actually, honestly, I swear to God, what's happening is that the torrential rains here, we have a satellite. So the rain will dump and it'll move the satellite a little bit, and the internet will just stop working completely. And then it'll rain again, and the satellite will move again, and the internet will get a little better. So, by the way, I said I was going to do music live streams because here we have this big loud sound system, and I haven't been doing it. But it's because I tried it once, and the bad internet actually affects the sound quality. So I am going to, what I'm going to do, I think, is start. Fernando, you've done so much, man. I'm not going to discourage anything, though, because we really do have like a chance of a lifetime thing. And, just in case there are those of you that have not ever, if you're new to the channel, what's going on basically. When I was a child, I used to read books like One River by Wade Davis. If you're into plant medicine, if you're into ethnobotany, even if you just like a good story, it doesn't get much better than One River by Wade Davis. Actually, you might know him better from, there's this old 80s movie called The Rainbow and the Serpent, and it's totally Hollywood. It's complete nonsense. But it is based on a study that he actually did. He was a student of Richard Evans Schultes, who was a Harvard professor in the 1940s. He was kind of like the psychedelic Indiana Jones. He actually got lost in the Amazon for, I think it was 12 years, and when he finally came out, legend has it he was dragging, I can't remember what they're called, but it's like a thing you stack plants on, plant specimens. And so he's dragging this thing and passing it on the ground with like beriberi and, 3 or 4 different, like, seriously terminal diseases, jungle diseases. And he had all these, psychoactive plants, including the blue orchid, which is like this tiny little orchid, super rare, that he discovered. And so just an amazing character, just one of those lives that you just can't believe that it was real. He kept peyote buttons in a trash can by his door, and students at Harvard could eat the peyote and then come and write extra paper to get some credit to improve their grade. So really a pioneer. He's sort of like the real progenitor of the psychedelic movement, because without Richard Evans Schultes, I don't know that we would, it definitely would have been a longer period before we knew as much as we know about ayahuasca. And one of the most interesting things about Richard Evans Schultes is that he did not, he said he never got any visions from any psychedelics. I don't know what compelled him to research them so deeply, except that I think he intuited that there was something extremely valuable for those of us living in the modern society. So anyways, Wade Davis wrote this book. He was a student of Richard Evans Schultes. He's still alive. He does the videos and still writes books. I think he has some programs online right now. And so he thought that there was some reality to the zombie myth. And it turns out that there was. And so he went down to Haiti and he discovered that he found a witch doctor that had zombies, which are like mindless slaves, just like they're described in the Hollywood movies. And they don't wander around looking to eat brains, but they're just kind of mindless and they do whatever they're told. Which reminds you of what? You guys have heard of this, the datura tree, that you blow the powder and then people will just do whatever you tell them, and people use prostitutes in Colombia, use it to rob, and so he suspected that there was some kind of toxin involved, and he started to do some research, and it turns out that what is actually happening is that there is a puffer fish that is caught and the venom is extracted, and then it's mixed with this powder from the tree and some other stuff, and it's so potent that if you so much as walk through it and absorb it through your skin, you will have the appearance of death. Thank you, Fernando, for the pitch, man. Yeah, and we're getting to that part. Okay, so how it works is that depending on the dosage, you will appear to be dead. And we're talking about Haiti, which, this is the 1960s, I think. The medical, they probably didn't have the best equipment. And so they would declare you dead and you're buried. And then, depending on how long the witch doctor waited between when you were given the poison and when you were given the antidote, that would influence how much brain damage that you had. And then so they would dig you up after 1, 2, 3, even supposedly up to 10 days, give you the antidote, and then you would come back. But you were like mindless, and these people were made into slaves. And so that's what a zombie actually is this datura, blowfish, poisoned, brain damaged person. And so that's who Wade Davis is. So that was his book that made him famous. And One River told the story of the Waorani here in part. There's a lot of stories in there. The discovery of the coca plant, lots of information about coca, and all sorts of different tribes. I mean, the guy has been all over South America and all the different, ayahuasca using tribes, and just a really prolific researcher who studied on one of the great masterminds, one of the great geniuses of our sort of our era, our grandparents' era. So the Waorani story that got my attention there as a child, in particular, because I grew up in the Deep South where everyone was always persecuting me because I wasn't Christian, and I would not pretend like I was the same as I am now. I would say anything to anyone, and that was a big problem for me there. And so I kind of had a chip on my shoulder when it came to Christians. And there's a story about these missionaries that come in a little plane, and they had made one successful landing and interacted with the Waorani. Nothing happened because the Waorani actually deeply value life, all life. It's a big deal even to hunt food, to kill it for eating, right? Like the shaman's, one of his main jobs is to mitigate between the angered animal spirits. They don't like to kill anything, including people. Just want to make that clear. It just wasn't taken lightly. But when the missionaries left and they came back, they dropped a bucket full of gifts. And they didn't understand, I guess, when they were leaving, the Waorani were saying, don't come back. They were giving them all these gifts, like parrots and all of the, here's my pet parrot, here's a blowgun, take all this stuff. The missionaries took that as if they were saying, we really like you. Here, have all these gifts and come back and see us again. And what they were saying is, go, don't ever come back. If you do, we'll kill you. And so they came back and they dropped the bucket. And I think that the main item that really triggered the Waorani to kill them all was a Polaroid picture that the Waorani felt had trapped their souls. And the great irony, of course, is, that the missionaries had indeed come to trap their souls. And so the Waorani hit the nail right on the head, and they killed them all. And so I was sort of, like rooting them on. They had my support from that moment on. And I know that sounds insane, but that's what as a 10-year-old kid reading the story, that's definitely what I was thinking. And so, I know a lot of you guys watch the channel all the time and you've heard all of this, but I ended up here in Hawaii, Ecuador by chance, and I discovered that right before we got here on the way here, there's another town called Shell, and there's an airplane on a pole, and that's the airplane that the missionaries landed in and got speared in. I had no idea when we were there. Like, I didn't know that the stories I was reading about as a child were like happening right around this house that I'm staying in right now, accidentally. And so the other day we were in town walking around, and something happened that had never happened before, and we definitely had it in our heads that we were going to try to talk to the Waorani, but I would get kind of nervous. And, always I would say, oh, next time. And so we're walking, and one of the Waorani women said, hey, come here. And so we did, and I finally said it. I was like, I've been reading about the Waorani since I was a child, and, we'd really like to interview someone. And they said, well, why don't you come stay with us? And I was like, oh, man, that's just crazy. So we have to be here for another month and a half. And, I need to make a contribution to the community. And also we have to buy supplies. There's a lot of expenses that come with moving my family into the jungle. We'll be able to fish for our food. You can eat everything here. It's just such an incredible resource. And so their motivation for inviting us is hoping that, with my YouTube channel and whatever other connections I have, that I can help them to stop people from destroying the rainforest. I mean, they have openly declared war with the Chinese mining companies. They have told them, you know, if we catch you out here destroying stuff, we will spear you. And they're not kidding. It's happened. It's come to violence. The Shuar have shot them before, and the Chinese are totally ruthless. I mean, they'll just drive their bulldozers. They'll come and say you have 3 hours to get out. If the people don't leave, they'll come and just drive through. The children in there, they don't care. There's women throwing kids out the window up on the top because everything's on stilts, you know. So it's really serious. And so I feel like this is what my entire life has been leading up to. And you know, the medicine that they've given us, the ayahuasca that they've given us, and the other people like them, it has the potential to save our culture. And our culture is destroying their culture. And I would think that, you know, the least we could do in return for their medicine and the wisdom and the truth that they give us is to not destroy their forests. The irony is that I'm kind of secretly motivated by this desire to completely cut all ties with Western civilization and just go and live with the Waorani and never come out of the jungle. Because the longer I've been here, you know, I mean, every day I see some creature, some animal that I couldn't conceive of existing. I mean, it's not like they're just beautiful or something. It's just, it doesn't make any goddamn sense that these things exist. I mean, we have trees here that walk the fuck around the jungle. You know, the walking palms. We did a tour a little while ago. The video's on my channel where the guy there's a particular walking palm, and he's like, yeah, this one's moved 25 meters in the 30 years that we've owned this property. And you know, it really is like being on a set of Avatar or something. There's a chrysalis over there waiting to, by the way, if you guys don't follow me on TikTok, it's just at Illuminastic111. I'm doing things like, you know, there's monkeys that light lighters here somehow, and they steal them. Like, they'll drop in through holes in the stores in the ceiling and grab the lighters, and they steal them from tourists. They're about to light a cigarette, the monkey will drop down by its tail and steal the lighter and disappear. So first I got videos of that, got like 20 million views on TikTok. Just absolutely insane. But anyways, I'm also documenting like all these crazy caterpillars, you know, the chrysalis, and then I haven't gotten a butterfly yet, but we have a couple that are gestating. Is that what you call it? I don't know. Pupillating. So anyways, yeah, TikTok and Instagram, definitely check out my other social media channels, because they're all very different. The Instagram, I put a lot of the pictures of the crazy moths and, you know, the caiman and just all the, I found an anaconda baby one a little while back. All of that kind of stuff is on the Instagram. Pictures of me with the Waorani people. And so again, you know, without your support, we can't do any of this stuff. None of it's going to happen. I want to pay this Quechua man the money that he's asking to have the opportunity to interview a shaman that hasn't been corrupted or influenced by the ayahuasca industry, because as thankful as I am that the medicine is getting out to the people, and while we're on the subject, it makes me particularly thankful for Carlos Tanner and the Ayahuasca Foundation, because they are doing a very good job of walking that fine line where they are preserving traditions and getting the medicine out to people. Because what's happening, you know, and I talk about this a lot, I don't mean to be redundant, but it is a big issue. We're losing a lot of traditions because the new age influence from pop culture spirituality is compelling shamans to feel like they need to fulfill the expectations of tourists. And because if you act not in accordance with the usually complete bullshit that ayahuasca tourist industry people are expecting, they'll think you're fake, and, you know, it causes problems in the circle and stuff. So it's really done a lot of damage to specific, very good traditional shaman that I have known since I've been here. Like, I've watched their practice go from amazing to just completely fake. And they weren't fake when they started out, but they have been pressured into, it's like the herd conformity that's happening in the United States with everything. You know, I don't even want to mention specifics, because I am trying not to alienate people so much anymore. So, do you guys have any questions or anything for me about, you know, anything? And that's part of the reason I wanted to do this live stream. I assume some of you guys watched the interview with Carlos. So yeah, did I finish the Waorani story even? Yeah, they just basically invited us, and I did luckily discover it's not going to be quite as expensive as we thought, because the transportation down the river was going to be insane. But it turns out there actually is a bus that goes most of the way, and my family can handle hiking. I think we'll survive. So, in case you missed the live stream, the gist of it all basically is this: it's not even ayahuasca that does the healing. It is and it's not. It's ayahuasca is a facilitator, just as the human that is guiding the ayahuasca ceremony is a facilitator. The ayahuasca is facilitating greater access with consciousness. It is turning up the voltage. I was laying in bed the other night and I thought of a really succinct way of describing it, that when we observe the neuroplasticity and neurogenesis that is going batshit crazy in the human brain with LSD and psilocybin and DMT and ayahuasca, and we talk about how the brain is taking imprints, it's learning faster, its plasticity is enhanced, so its ability to adapt and create new patterns is enhanced. It's creating new brain cells. What we're actually seeing is that it is plugged into the current of consciousness more directly. And so it is being impacted. It's the same thing as turning the heat on an oven up. And we're looking at it from one side. We're looking at it from the material, neurophysical and neurochemical, neurobiological side of the coin. But in actuality, all processes are energetic processes. And so what's actually happening is that the filters that usually screen out the overwhelming sensory input of the universal mind and all of the consciousness that's actually there and available to us, and focus it down into this little narrow point, those filters have been moved or even removed, depending on the dosage, sometimes in their totality. And so what we're seeing is the direct effect of pure consciousness impacting the brain directly. That's what this enhanced neurogenesis and neuroplasticity really is a product of, in my humble opinion. So that's basically what Carlos was saying, is that it's really consciousness that is doing the work, and ayahuasca is just acting as a it's turning off the reducing valve to an extent that the ability of consciousness to rewire these circuits is greatly enhanced. So I'm going to keep it short tonight, you guys, but I want to thank you so much for supporting us. Definitely keep an eye out for part 2. Support us if you can, because we have to raise a lot of money if we're going to do this Waorani thing. If I'm going to interview the local shaman and stuff, I have to pay them all, and we just can't do it. So we really do appreciate your support. Thank you so much. My health has gotten better. Today was terrible, so there are ups and downs, but I have felt better over the last week consistently than I have felt in a very long time. So I'm hoping today was just a temporary dip, and I'm really hoping that I can see some of these other shaman and stuff and get the work that medical doctors have not been able to do. Also, I haven't been able to drink ayahuasca and maintain my relationship with that consciousness, because I don't feel like I'm physically capable even of taking care of myself under those circumstances. And so what I really need to do is pay someone else to administer it to me and take care of me. And I think this Shipibo woman, also another thing that's interesting about the situation is that I have not worked with a female shaman before, and a lot of my damage came from a woman. And I think that it just makes that sort of serendipitous sense that this type of movement of consciousness always tends to exhibit. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Aho and good night.